horrific storm. And anybody who's listening from the south here on the East Coast, my condolences for your loss of any kind of structure or so on, and maybe even loss. It has been really quite bad, that storm. And but we are going to have this show anyway. We have quite here in Pennsylvania. We have quite a bit of wind, really high winds, really high gusts. I don't think they're coming from Matthews, but if we get interrupted, I apologize. We may lose the cable, but hopefully not. Let's all say hello to Amnon, our producer, who's so gracious of donating his time, also as I do, to educate you, to entertain you, and to give you information that you may not have had. Amnon, hello, happy
Hello.
Sunday.
Hello. How are you?
I am okay. I
Good.
am okay.
If if
I
if we get interrupted, I've got one over you. We are running on a generator because
holy
we don't have power. We're running on a lower internet link because Time Warner is out,
yeah.
and I slept 3 hours last night.
Oh my
So
God, you poor thing. So you
so
guys have really, you're really, even though you're quite inland, you're in
we're
Raleigh, right?
inland. We had about 7 inches in about 7 hours,
Holy cow.
and we had uh, water leaking in the basement, and we stayed up on our feet the whole day and half the night, squeegeeing and toweling and all that. But
Yeah.
it could have been worse.
Yeah. Well, those people on the coast, they had it much worse. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
they have had loss of property.
Oh
They've
yeah.
had some
I know.
loss of life.
Yep.
Uh, it's just been horrific,
It is.
just
It has.
horrific.
I know.
Yeah, and I think in the years to come, I think our storms are going to get bigger because our world is changing.
Yep.
Now, it may
Yep.
be to climate change.
It may be.
It, pardon me?
I said it may be. You may be right.
Yeah. Uh, but it definitely is that our world is changing weather-wise, not only politically. But weather-wise, it really is. We are living in turbulent times, in every which way, in every which way. And we just have to see that we keep our cool and that we keep, you know, seeing that we keep everybody safe and just not even, one of the things is that I've said many times is stress. Stress is causing us so much illness, and also really it strips us of quality of life. And one of the things that I had meant to talk to about today is the bullying. Now, bullying is, when you have weather like this, it's like being bullied. It's like being, I mean, what's up? You know, weather God, anybody who is responsible for it, you want to at least, you want to say, you know, stop it. But you can't, because weather you can't control. So we have to have things that keep us calm. And usually, I happen to have such a fantastic partner who lives always in Zen, and it seems like nothing disturbs him. So at times I get a little upset about that, like, come on, because I'm a very passionate person and I am always out there and I want to fix it. Well, some of the things we can't fix, like weather, you can't fix that. But what you can do is you can, like you did, you said, okay, we're going to stay up, we're going to do what needs to be done, and then we're going to see that we stay calm through all of that. Because one thing you don't need to over stress on things like this and then get ill to boot. You know, stress is such a big factor that causes us so much harm. And bullying has been coming rampant. Now, I believe that also it has something to do with stress. If you're under stress and you are upset and you know, it's easy to lash out to the next one. And that may be then bullying. You know, you are the cause of it, or I'm going to hit you because you insulted me, or I'm going to just because you're smaller and I'm stronger, I will see that I will exert my power over you. And we see that in schools. We see that in politics just now. I don't want to name names. I was told by my husband, don't do it. And once in a while I listen to him. But we know that that is happening. And we know that it's happening in the workplace. It's happening with children. Let me tell you a little story. We have a neighbor who has two little boys. And although we are not close, the boys would come over here. They would play with my animals, even though they have a few too. But, they would play with them and we would visit. And over the years, have seen them grow up. And they are about 8 and 9 now. And all the years past, I always said, wow, what beautiful, nice, polite little boys, loving. They would come and run and say, oh, Gisela, and hug me, and oh, tell me about their life and their day. Well, they were homeschooled up till last year. Even though father is a teacher, but father had some health issues, so he homeschooled them. Last year, they went into public school. This year, I've seen them only twice because now they are not that often around anymore, because they go to school. But when I did see them, the demeanor of both boys was marked different. And I could tell that the younger one, who was super loving always, very, very loving, he was much more guarded, much more like, he didn't come and run and hug me. I said then to him, what, I'm not getting my hug? And he said, oh, yeah, he was reminded and he hugged me then. But normally he would just come on his own. Now, I contribute that to the peer pressure in school, to the other kids who are not as loving, who are not as, and well, you don't do that. And he would see that the other kids are not. I don't know. I'm not in school with him, so I don't know. But I just found it interesting to be such a difference because they're really, if I wouldn't have seen them until they were 15, yeah, they grow up and they're not going to do that anymore. But it was just like a year difference. So I find the bullying, and we need to all be aware of that. We need to be aware that we do not bully other people, that we don't bully or you go to a restaurant and you hear somebody sort of like not being very kind to a waitress, or not being very polite even to a waitress. I always find that so very sad. These people are there to make a living, but they are also there to help us and to serve us. And they need to be addressed courteously, and we need to be polite to them. Um, by the way, if you do that, you get much better service also. But, I find it all around us. And I think I contribute that to the media, to where on the internet, when you go on Facebook and you say something that others don't like, and all of a sudden you have this barrage of people that hammer you of, how can you say that, and I am just, and I mean, some words have been flying. I made the mistake one time to say that at one Facebook page, where it was just really about our town here, and people were, you know constantly abusing that and doing. I said, can't we do something? Can't we have this? I thought this page was more for that we understand what's happening in our town. Well, you should have heard them. I mean, I really felt bullied. um, so we do that. Some people probably are doing it because they're not even thinking about it, but that how hurtful that can be. Also, government officials. We have a government official here who really is trying to bully me. I am just really very upset about it. And, I mean, I have chickens and I have horses, and he feels I can, I have about 3 acres of land, and he thinks, or the ordinance apparently says I have to have 10 acres for chickens, and I only need 3 acres for my horses, which in my opinion is really, I mean, how can that be, right? But it's not that he wants to enforce the ordinance. It's not that. It's how he does it. He just sent me a very insulting letter, a real insulting letter. And I find it's becoming prevalent all through of our society everywhere. We have this. Everybody walks around like boom, you know, and I really find that is so very sad. One of the reasons why I always loved America, and America is my choice country. I didn't come here because I was, or don't live here because I was born here accidentally. I came here of choice because I love America. I love American people. They have always been, American people have always been kind, generous, good hearted people. I've always felt that. And I see that is being changed. Now, the reason for that, I have my suspects there. I think a lot of that has to do with the media. And it also, a lot of it has to do with our disenfranchising of each other. Have you noticed that? People are not getting together. I mean, I try to be with my friends. I try to call them on a weekly basis. I have about 10 or 15 acquaintances that I try to keep in touch on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Call them and just say, hey, how are you? Everything okay? This is what's happening in my life. Do you want to get together for coffee? You know, not just on telephone or not just on Facebook. Try to get together with your friends. Be interested in their lives. Don't just, I mean, we get so entertained by the internet and by not even radio so much, but television and internet. That's what it is. I don't know about radio unless you're in the car. I love listening to the radio. But, um, we are not staying as close in touch with each other. And if we have something to say to that or contribute that, I would really welcome that. I would like to hear your comment on that, because it is an important thing. And especially now where the world seems like, I mean, here we have hurricane, then we have the political hurricane, then we have the Zika virus, then we have, I mean, it's insane. So we need to stay in touch with each other. When we do that, we lower our stress level. We lower the stress level. We increase our immune system by lowering our stress level. We will be less often sick. And the next flu season is around the corner, will not be as devastating to us because we will not catch it. If our immune system is strong, we will not catch the next flu virus. So please get into the chat room. Amnon will tell you of how to get in touch with me and how to contribute your viewpoint on that.
That's 919-518-9773 or Computers 2K Voice on Skype. This is just audio. Or just go ahead and sign into the chat and talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying talk. Type.
Yeah. Just type it in, whatever your question is.
Yep.
And whatever you want to contribute to that. Okay. I would really welcome you. But don't you think, Amnon, that there's so much merit to that, what I was saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We are just not, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy this show so much, even though I don't have much forthcoming from you guys yet. But I'm hopeful, and I'm a positive person, and I always think that if I keep doing my thing right here, I will hear from you, and I will hear what you have to say. But I do know, because I do listen to other talk shows, and I do know that many of the talk show hosts are saying the same thing. Our world needs to get closer with each other again. We need to not only talk on Facebook or on the phone or text. We need to have face-to-face interaction. That lowers our stress level, nothing else. Because just like our pets also, I see that on our pets. Our pets are much more stressed. And how do we know that? Well, many ways. One of the things is that pets who are very stressed often eat a lot more, very much like people. Why do we have so many overweight people? Much is contributed to stress. Our endocrine system does not work as well if we are continuously producing stress hormones, because we're continuously in flight with that. Stress is like in flight. You got to run away, or you got to fight, or you got to, that's what the stress hormones do. And if you continuously do that, our endocrine system gets out of whack. And then all of a sudden, we start gaining weight and more, and we eat more, because when we eat more, endorphins are released. And so then for the next 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we feel better, especially with sweets. Our pets are the same way. Our pets, I have one dog, Teddy. He is a Maltese poo. Well, he is genetically on the chubby side. Okay. So I have to give him that. But he gets stressed out. He has so much separation anxiety from my husband. He is like surgically attached to my husband. And whenever my husband goes away, even goes shopping, he sits by the door and looks for him, or by the window, looks for him, even though he has his two other uh, buddies there. You know, they are there, and I'm here. No, he's just bent out of shape because he has this anxiety issue. Now, many pets are living by themselves with their owners, which is nothing wrong with that. Um, but they also have that problem. They have this stress hormone. More stress, the anxiety produces stress. And then what do? If they have dry food, like many people leave dry food for free choice, I do, because I don't want my pets to overeat. If you do, if you, because they were trained like that. I, right away from the beginning, they never had to worry about that there wasn't any food. There was always dry food there. And but he runs immediately then to the bowl and eats dry food. And then when my husband comes back, he's, you know, he brings a toy to him, and he's overexcited, like he's gone for months, you know, but he was gone for 10, 15 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. So we see that on our pets the same way. So how can we change that? Well, one thing is, when a pet is young, we need to make them understand. We have it young. We need to train them and make them understand that just because you removed yourself out of their vision for some time, that does not mean that they are not taken care of. Okay, so they have to have have food there, and they also have to be, I always leave a radio on too, or the television on when we leave. That seems to calm them a lot. When you are then home, exercise. Many pets have a lot of anxiety because they don't have enough exercise. You don't go out, and you know what? It's great for all of us to go for a walk, because I hear all the time, when I got my pet, my dog, cats could care less, right? I mean, not really, but you know, cats are not really quite as prone to this stress, but dogs are. So I hear all the time from clients and say, well, you know, I wanted to have a dog because I thought, well, we'll go for walks and we go, you know, and it would make me walk more. And I need the exercise too. So now you have had the pet for, well, the first 6 months, if it's a puppy, you don't really want to overstress the pet, so you're not going. So that thought of going for 30-minute walk, a minimum of in a day, is starting to flee. Then they get to be one or two, and now they are full of energy. Okay, so all right, we're going to go for that 30-minute walk. So then couple of months, then the weather is bad. Ah, well, no, let's just go out and pee. Let's just go make our business and let's go back in. Then it's going to get cold like it does here in the Northeast. And now all of that with the walking and so on goes out of the window. Well, I got news for you guys. You still need to walk. You need to walk your pets. You need to, especially if you have a dog that is a little larger. I mean, if you have a teacup Chihuahua, you don't need to go for a 30-minute walk. But if you have anything larger than, let's say, Jack Russell. But even Jack Russell, I mean, Jack Russell needs a lot of exercise. Otherwise, they get chubby like crazy. Now, when we got our Teddy that is so attached to my husband, that was also the idea. Oh, you know what? My husband needs to walk more. Well, guess who's walking now? Neither one of them. You know, they go run around our property a couple times a day, and they do get a fair amount of exercise. But they could use a lot more exercise. And now the question is, well, Gisela, why aren't you walking them? Well, yeah, I am in the same ballpark. I don't like to go walk out there when the weather is not good either. So I understand, but we have to, you know, habits come from doing things over and over again. And those are good habits. And I swear to you, once the show is over and it seems like the wind is dying down just a little bit here, I'm going to take my dogs for a walk too. And we are not going to make the show today terribly long because, as you've heard, Amnon is on a generator, and we don't want to, and he's probably by now pretty tired also for having stayed up most of the night. But see here, that is what is happening. I also would love to know, guys, with this latest Trump thing, what do you think? Do you think he should step down? Do you think Trump should say, okay, I'm going to let Pence take over and I'm going to stay? Send me a note. Type in yes, no, whatever. I love to know just a little poll here, okay, of what. Let me also just very, very quickly here of how often do you think you should go with your pet to the vet for a wellness check? A, only when he's feeling under the weather. B, at least once a year. Or C, just when he's due for shots. I'm going to give you the answer next week. And otherwise, I hope that you all stay safe. I mean, it's been horrific. Let's hope that Matthews is going out to sea and stop the destruction. And let's move on towards that beautiful fall that we should have. Our leaves are turning here, and I think it will be a beautiful fall once we have all this tumultuous going. Enjoy tonight the debate. I will be watching because I think it's important tonight. I would like to hear what both candidates are saying, and I hope it is not too much mudslinging. I hope it is some constructive thing that we can hear from them, because we certainly deserve it and need it. With that, I'm going to let you go today. Stay safe, and I will see you next Sunday right here, 12 o'clock, The Gisela Show. Have a great week. Bye for now.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.